Finished day 6 today. Second day in full pads, and starting with yesterday, with full pads being incorporated in. A lot of competition segments in practice. Yesterday had a couple, and then today had a few more. And so now you've incorporated in live contact into everything you're doing, and so certainly that changes a lot of the dynamics. And you see a lot of players that are really, really good in helmets, and you start incorporating in contact, and it changes. You also see some guys that maybe don't stand out as much in helmets that are much better players once you start incorporating in the contact. So, um, you know, I told the players after practice, from doing nothing for 4 months and not having practice since late last fall, early winter, that to go 6 straight days, I thought they've handled it pretty well. We have obviously been very wise with what we've done and have not done the volume that we would usually do this time of the year, but at the same time, we've increased it just a little bit every day. So, we'll finish up this afternoon with a weight session and some meetings and stuff like that, a walkthrough. And then tomorrow we're going to take the day off from practice and workouts, a little bit of meeting time, really get off their feet, off their legs, a lot of recovery, some rehab in the training room, and then get ready to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday with a scrimmage in the stadium on Saturday with officials. So, it's coming along, continuing to do, I think, a better and better job every day with, some of the protocols as related to the virus. And I think, that's reflected in our numbers that we have right now. So hopefully that trend will continue. The more guys we have out there practicing, obviously the higher level we're going to play at. So questions?
Coach, now that you guys have gotten into pads, are any of the younger defensive linemen individually kind of standing out or making plays early in camp?
Yeah, I think that, it's going to take a little while with them, but at the same time, we saw some huge positives from some players. And, I'm hesitant to brag on young kids too much too early, because most of the time, as soon as you pat them on the butt, they go the other direction. But, I think just the size of some of those guys, Xavier McIver, Jason Shuford, they're large human beings. Romero has a great motor and has a lot of toughness. Elijah Morris, young kid from Fayetteville, has been really, really solid, here early on. Now, all that you got to kind of take in perspective, because, there's a big difference between a third and fourth year guy and a first year guy. But I think I still really like that group. I talked to them last night, just them. I think they're going to be really good. And I think you'll look up, 2 and 3 years from now, and you'll just be, wow, what a solid group. We've got to grow them up and develop them. But we do really like the group.
Coach Houston, WRAL-TV is reporting that their sources say that Governor Cooper is going to keep the state in phase 2 for 4 more weeks. What does that mean for East Carolina football?
Probably the same thing it does for every other football program in the state of North Carolina. So hopefully he'll let us know what that means.
Can you scrimmage on Saturday in those circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, there's just certain protocols with, spacing and everything that we'll be conscientious of.
I was going to ask you about scrimmages. You touched on it earlier. Usually in preseason, there's a scrimmage on Saturdays, and those are obviously really important. What does that look like now as far as a scrimmage? I mean, will Saturday be pretty normal for y'all, or you still have to follow guidelines and different type of procedures?
Well, we'll have to follow protocols. I've got the grounds crew setting up the fields very similar to what they will be during the regular season. So the players box will be from the 10 to the 10, so which will allow a lot of spacing on the sidelines. All the kids are wearing the gator masks while they're in pads. So anytime they've got their helmet off, they'll have a mask on. It's, this just, everything operationally, we've just got to be conscientious of, making sure we've got good spacing anytime that, the guys are out of the drill.
How is Aaron Ramseur progressing back from that injury he suffered last year? Has he been able to practice at all so far?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's something else. We're obviously being smart, bringing him along. And, we had him in a red jersey, which means no contact. And then, you look up one day and the offensive guys are like, Coach, he's hitting us and he's got a red jersey on. And so I said, Aaron, you can't be in the contact drills if you got a red jersey on. I look up and we're doing a short yardage drill yesterday, and he goes and he gets a purple jersey from one of the other kids and sneaks into the drill and finishes the drill. So I'd say he's coming along just fine. I say that just because it's kind of humorous to us. He's cautious at times, and then at other times he just wants to go play. But as far as him running around, him moving, he looks really, really good. He's like anybody else with an injury like that. He's just got to get confidence in it. Structurally, he's fine. The medical bunch, they've been pleased with what he's been able to do rehab wise. So I think he's coming along well, and I expect him to play.
Hey, Coach, I want to ask you, I think you talked about receivers a few days ago, but I want to ask you about the running back group. You've obviously got some guys, some experience there, and, coming off injury as well. What have you made out of that group? And I know, again, it's very early on, but you do have a lot of youth there.
Yeah, but a lot of competition. I mean, I think you look at the room as a whole, there's a lot of competition going on there. Very pleased with the young backs, Keaton Mitchell and Raji Harris. They've been, very solid every day. Certainly, Mooney and Penix and Hayden all have experience, some of them a little bit more than others. I think they're all different, but they all give us something, a little bit different in the run game and in the pass game. But been very pleased with them. Trace Christian's competing. Got a couple of other guys, but, a room that was very, very thin last year all of a sudden has a tremendous amount of depth.
Coach, how important is it for the first stringers and your standouts that are going to be starting when September, October gets here in that first scrimmage, where they see a lot of action because they didn't have spring football?
Yeah, everybody's going to see a lot of action. We're going to try to get everybody a lot of reps. I don't know who the first stringers are right now, so we're going to let them all go out there and get in the middle of it. And I think that's something they need. I don't care who they are. They need that setting, that contact, gameplay. It's so vital because there's just been so much time off for all of them, and just getting that chemistry, working together. All those things are so important, and you cannot simulate that. We try to simulate it in some of our competition segments. We finished practice with a red zone deal today, and it got pretty hyped and pretty intense and everything. But you start throwing officials out there, and that kind of changes the dynamic of everything. So it's Saturday's important.
Coach, to go along off that though, obviously with the pandemic and just the where your football team is, you've mentioned wanting to get guys a lot of reps and that sort of thing. But when you consider what might happen in terms of possible positive cases or guys missing time because they're in quarantine, how do you go about approaching that as a staff? Because I'm sure it's very difficult to make sure reps are spread out and you're getting all those guys all that experience.
Well, you just and we've been through a lot of scenarios already with this, with contact tracing and things where we've had a lot of lineups we've had to shuffle around. On the offensive line, for the most part, everybody's got to learn every position because week in and week out you could have 2 or 3 guys out, and really that's that way across the board at receiver, in the secondary. So we're double training a lot of guys. We're trying to be at least 3 deep with guys that know what they're doing. it's just you're going to have to approach things like that if you have any hopes of playing. Otherwise, you're going to look up and see a ton of games canceled.
Coach, going back to the D-line real quick, how was Freshwater looked with them being cleared to play this year?
He's been one that's been in and out of practice a little bit. Nothing he's done. When he's been in there, he's done some really good things. But it's, we're struggling with that. Everybody in the country is just keeping guys in practice with this contact tracing stuff.
Coach, this week, players opting out has become, on a bigger national sense, more of maybe a trend or a thing. You said recently all your guys are all in and excited. What is that dynamic like as a coach? Are you paying attention much to what else is going on or at other schools and worried all that influences anything? Or what's that balance with guys being all in versus guys saying, no, I'm good type of thing?
Well, I don't know the dynamics at any other school. The only thing I know is our dynamics here. I care about our young men tremendously. I want them to be safe. I want them to, have confidence in the things that we're doing. I think sometimes there's frustration with just how strict and conservative the protocols are, but those parameters are in place to protect the players. I think the players here know that they always have a conduit. A place that they can voice, coming to me at any time about anything. I'm constantly in dialogue with those guys, with our leadership council, and I really push them to, be direct, be honest, always, voicing how you feel about things. We try to do that also. But at the end of the day, each and every one of them has to make those decisions about what they want to do. From everything that I've gotten from them, they're dead set they want to play football. I think the biggest thing that's been frustrating to them is just, wanting some clarity on, we are playing this day at this time. We're definitely playing. There's no muddy water or, that's the stuff that gets frustrating. Is just, needing something definitive as far as, when we're playing, how we're doing things. And just, clearing that stuff up. I think that's the biggest thing the kids want.
Coach, you mentioned speaking on the dynamics of other teams, but how about the dynamics in other conferences? I mean, obviously, you've already lost a couple of games to the pandemic this season with the SEC's decision and the MEAC's, but how about the way the American Conference is handling things? How does that sit with you guys?
Well, we had a call today. The presidents and ADs had a call this morning. We had a call as coaches at lunchtime today. So I think we're all on the same page. We understand, we're going to retain our conference schedule, and then our non-conference schedule will be whatever each school can put together. So we feel good about having 10 games right now. Whether we add any to that or not, will remain to be seen. I think there's a lot of stuff that's going to shake out in the next couple of weeks. With some other leagues and stuff like that. But, I think, the 10 games that we have right now is going to be very competitive as far as the schedule goes. And I think the American's doing everything that it can to make sure that it protects the schools in our conference. And I think the big focus is, this league is one of the top FBS conferences in the country. And I think that the commissioner and everyone is trying to do what they can to ensure that we stay at that high competitive level and stay relevant with the other Power 5 conferences.
Is there anything that changes protocol-wise when school and classes start back on Monday?
Well, I think testing still continues just like we're doing now. Every single player, coach, and support staff member is tested every single week. The big thing for me is just going to be stressing to the players, especially going into this weekend, that, and we talked about it today, that we've got to protect each other and we've got to protect our season. And that means that, there may be some things that we can't do that we normally would do, whether it be going out to a party, going out downtown, but also, being conscientious of distancing and wearing a mask when we go to class. A lot of our guys are going to have online classes, but there are some that will have classes in person. And anytime you have an in-person class, I think it's important for us, even more so than anybody else, because, we have we have the season at stake to, wear a mask, keep our distance, be conscientious of any interactions we have with any other member of the student body. And that's going to be very, very foreign. It's foreign to me when I go to the grocery store. It's foreign to all of us when we're out in public, because we are a very social, a very social country, a very social, race. And so it's something that we're going to have to do to protect each other. And, hopefully we'll be able to do that. It's going to be tough, though. It's going to be a challenge. The dorms are going to be a challenge. Classes are going to be a challenge. Campus is going to be a challenge. So hopefully we can navigate that successfully and navigate it well.
Coach, a few minutes ago, you were talking about the development of the running game. When you got here a year and a half ago, the tight end position was nowhere near where it needed to be in order for you to play how you want to play. So just talk about the development of that room. You have some pretty nice talent and numbers right now. Yeah,
we have 3 guys that I think are very solid. Zach Byrd, came along last year, and, really expect a lot from him this year. Jeremy Lewis, everybody knows him, local guy, South Central High School, really pushed through some stuff last year, had a lot of nagging injuries, but still played. He's had a really strong start to preseason camp. And then Shane Calhoun, the freshman out of Florida, I've been pleasantly surprised with him both as a receiver and a blocker here early in camp. I think he's still got a lot of growth that needs to happen, but he's a big body, big hands, powerful athlete, and has a chance to be a solid guy for us.
We have any further questions for Coach? Okay, Coach Houston, thank you very much.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Talk to you soon.
Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Coach.